Hello friends, I made this for. My name is Lauren and I am a human being trying to be a person in Philadelphia, PA. I do tarot readings, I do Reiki, and I make art. So today's video is going to be about Venus in Pisces. Venus has been in Pisces for maybe like a few days or whatever. Whenever you are watching this, Venus will be turning its little self into and rolling into Aries on the 21st. So for right now, Venus is in Pisces, and that's what this video is all about. Today I'm going to be referencing a book that I illustrated, Planetary Pause, Reflections of the Celestial Bodies, as one of my references for today. I made that art. Isn't that lovely? The person who wrote everything in this book, though, the author, is Brady Waller. So follow them on Instagram at The Mythic Landscape on Instagram. This is my drawing of Venus. Each planet has a drawing of their personification. So this is what I drew for Venus. But anyway, enough about me. You're here to talk about Venus in Pisces through the tarot. So I'm going to be using three decks to kind of get into that. Of course, the Morgan Greer, because I love it. Also, the Wild Unknown, a very popular card deck in the tarot world. And last but not least, Apparition Spirit Speak tarot deck for some more abstract look at what these two energies can bring us, and to kind of get into how I talk about tarot and astrology. I'm not technically a astrologer, but I love using astrology as a reflection in our day-to-day life. I also like to use both tarot and astrology to just delve deeper into both, because they can help us navigate. If you're strong in one, use the other, to kind of expand that understanding, right? I like to use things as narratives, so we're going to talk narratively, but we're also going to talk about how to expand our understanding of certain energies, because within the tarot realm and within the astrology realm, there's definitely some misnomers, there's definitely some things that we can break free from, and I mean that as in there's certain ideologies that are not necessarily expansive enough for me. So if you don't agree with certain things that I say, if you're more a classic version, or certain ways of looking at the tarot or astrology serve you better, you don't have to listen to me. It's totally fine. I like to look at things as a very holistic sense. So if something in the words of Lindsay Mack, if it doesn't serve all, then it's not enough, or something like that. If we can't see all of ourselves in it, then perhaps it's not best for everyone and doesn't really serve anyone. Short and long, basic idea. She didn't say that word for word, maybe, and I might be butchering her words, but honor the lineage, honor where it comes from. But with that said, I'm going to be talking mostly about Venus, which is, of course, the Empress. I'm going to start there and, of course, go into the moon, which is Pisces. And I'll link down below every video I've made so far around Pisces related to the moon card. So if you want to have a deeper understanding of the moon card, those links will be down below. I did one for the full moon and just an all over Pisces season through the moon card. So to kind of use tarot as that support system. So again, if those are things that you kind of need more relatability on, I'm going to link those. But with that said, this is a video mostly about the Empress in the tarot. So I'm going to be really bringing a lot of energy towards the Empress first and foremost as Venus, to kind of connect us to Venus. That's not to say that the moon is not important here, but when we're talking about Venus in the sign of Pisces, I do think it's important to reframe how we connect with Venus. And of course, I've done videos, Venus and blah, 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 blah in the past. I'm not going to necessarily link those because I think my evolution of certain things has changed. And of course, that's not to say that those videos aren't valid. I just don't think they're as up to date as my views are now. And of course, this is kind of going on a long time, but I do think it's important to say that how we view certain cards or even planets and aspects in astrology should be ever evolving. We should never have any of our views fixed, right? Those things should always, in my view, be mutable, constantly flowing and evolving and using things differently from season to season as we evolve with our views, season to season, year to year, day to day, week to week, month to month. So with that said, what are we actually here to talk about? Yes, I know. Hi, I like to go into a lot of things, but that is, again, holistically speaking, how can we use things to better serve us means that we got to keep evolving. What is service? You know, that's just how I feel. So like I said, we're going to start with the Empress and then talk about how the moon relates in kind of a narrative way and also in a way that kind of helps us ground what we're connecting to through Venus or the Empress. So first and foremost, I think what's really important, Venus is associated with creativity, love, value system, those sort of things, our aesthetics, even as Brady puts it in Planetary Pause. Aesthetics can be a big deal here. But if we kind of look at Venus as the planet of love, we miss a lot of good details and a lot of good medicine. So that's the thing that I really want us to think about today, is not necessarily love, just in a very limited sense, especially if it comes to just relationships, because love is way more expansive than that. We want to also honor Venus, the Empress, as a way more than just love, or in most ways of looking at the Empress being the mother figure. Because again, if we're looking at the Empress as the mother figure and Venus as the planet of love, we're going to end up missing a lot of medicine, stories, and narratives that could actually be way more supportive in our day-to-day. Because if we just look at the Empress as a mother, well, not everyone connects with that, as Lindsay Mack has said in her tarot courses. If we don't connect with it fully, it can be really problematic for certain people. So I'm going to say today, Venus is not just love, it is our value system. And of course, when we ground into our value system and our pursuit of our value system, how we view what is important to us, we're able to see it way more expansively. So how does that relate to the Empress then? If we're not looking at her as strictly a love icon or a mother icon, and Venus is being more of this expansive being, how do we see this as expansive? Because again, the Empress is seen as feminine, which is not always supportive for everyone. We could see it as feminine if we find that supportive, but actually what I want to rephrase is the capacity to birth, the capacity to hold space. So not everyone who is a mother births, right? And not everyone who births is a mother or a female, right? So what we can say is there is this creatrix or creator aspect to the Empress, and that's kind of what I want to focus on. And that creator spirit is very open heart. So we see in the Empress of this card, we see the heart being exposed. This capacity for giving and receiving is a big energy. And if we're looking at what is our value system, then we are able to see it more as our values are what we give our space to, we give our energy to. That's what our value system is all about. So Venus is here as a guide of what our value system is. So with Venus and Pisces, we're opening our space up to the energy that is Pisces. We're opening up our breath. We're opening up our hearts. We're opening up. We have our shield there. We see our shield in our flower more as how do we defend the sacred. What we see as sacred is our value system. So how do we defend the sacred? How do we bring that softness to the defense where we are making space for our values? So again, this is Venus. We're looking at the Empress as Venus. So that's kind of big takeaways I want to kind of impose. So with Venus and Pisces, or the moon, we're seeing this value system being about illuminating the subconscious. So right now, the values that we are kind of maybe shifting is how do we nurture our subconscious? How do we birth what is in our subconscious forward? How do we connect with our animalistic instincts? Again, I've talked about this card specifically. It is a gateway, right? Pisces is a huge gateway for a lot of us. So if Venus is in gateway, if Venus is like focusing on how to bring things through this gateway, how do we birth this more mutable, watery energy through the primordial goo and into a new level of capacity, which again, Pisces is really connected to, we are birthing everything that came before and after us. Like, this is so hard to speak on, so it's nice to have these tools, this Empress and this moon, to kind of guide us where our aesthetic or capacity for creating, our creative lens, our scope is shifting into our subconscious. We're making space for a more compassionate place for our primordial selves, our intuitive selves, and our watery emotional self, right? So that's where we can kind of see our value system shifting for this period of time up until the 21st, when we move that Venus into Aries. We're seeing this energy kind of creating a whirlpool where we can harness our options, our direction, and align those things with our intuitive self. So again, that's one way that we can look at Venus in Pisces. Helping us get there is the tarot. So that's the Morgan Greer, right? So these will go faster, I promise. So next, I want us to look at the wild unknown. And this is actually a really beautiful connection, because we see very similar aspects here. We see it very similarly. We see it very, we see some of the same things, but transmuted, right? So this is our moon. This is our Empress. Really interesting. So let's talk about Empress first. So again, we're looking at Venus through the Empress. Venus is our value system. So our value system can be a huge structure for us, right? Our value system is how we decide what is important and what is not important, and how to shelter and care for what is important to us. So when we're looking at the Empress card here, we see the strong tree that cares for many animals within it. That is its own ecosystem that also cares for other ecosystems around it. Trees are known to connect with each other in this way. And then we see the moon here again. Venus changes quite a bit, but Venus is very like clockwork. When we're just talking about Venus in the sky, Venus has this interesting, Venus is the easiest to predict where it's going to be and why next, because it has a very structured rotation. So it's very easy to follow it, almost like you would follow the moon. And in fact, again, referencing Brady from this book, they mention that the Mayans use Venus to kind of put together like what they would be doing spiritually speaking. So connecting with Venus to me, and of course that's not the words of Brady, but to me that really seems very similar to a lot of moon worship, because you can really track it pretty easily, and it's still very visible to us. Again, maybe that's not what anyone else would say, that's my interpretation. But Venus has that capacity, and of course Venus gets lumped into a lot of feminine creative sort of things, which is very moon as well. Again, that's a limiting aspect to look at Venus as just like a feminine character. It's not that. And neither is the Empress, but I digress. So here we are looking at the Empress, solid, taking on this energy of support system, right? Very strong base, good, nice branches, and this creative energy is what I feel here. There's a lot of strength and creativity. We see the color on the leaves. We see this like softness, again, this heart feeling to this tree, and then the moon kind of giving us that capacity for shifting and expansion and contraction, which is very Empress, but it can also be very Venus, following that rotation of, okay, the next thing, and we're shifting, but always keeping this strong foundation that is grounded in very earthly energies. So when we see the moon here, and of course we see these two together, we see the similarities, these structures on either side, giving us strength to connect through the space, right? So again, we are connecting here in a very literal way. These two cards are very similar. We see the tree, we see the moon. But the moon is illuminated here because it is the pathway that is more important than the tree itself. It is the subconscious that's more important than the structures itself. And so again, when we're moving through this period of time where Venus is in Pisces, we might be, or maybe your Venus is in Pisces, this is a Venus that is very focused on a dreamlike expansion. How do we move through our subconscious in a way that creates more space for all of us, that creates more intuitive beauty in our world? And of course, that beauty looks different from everyone. Beauty is not gender. Beauty is expansive. Beauty is all things that we value, right? So what do we value in our subconscious realms? What's really important here? So that brings us to our last look at Venus. Again, I'm going to be referencing all these Venuses here as we go through the Empress, the Venus card, through our other cards. So we're going to see very quickly that there's oh, bless me, some things that carry over. We see the heart. We see the Venus symbol right here. Again, this heart. When we move through things that are of value to us, that becomes our heart-centered space, right? We're moving heart first. heart first in a way that is compassionate, expansive, and loving to ourselves and others. It's not just about others and how we care for others and birth others. It's how we care for ourselves. It's how we birth ourselves every day. So again, that's one way of looking at the Empress. We see the shell, again, a safe space, a safe haven. We see the book that's open, ready to be written, because we are always shifting what is of value to us, how we engage in our own parenting, how we engage in our ability to write what is right, decide what is the most expansive way to be us and to pursue what matters to us. And of course, these eyes that see, they are open. We see the structures of the roses guarding all these sacred objects. So there is strength. There is strength to this Empress, to this value system, to what we see is important. What we see is our spaciousness. And when it comes to our creativity, putting boundaries in that protect our creativity, protect our value system, right? Because that's Venus. Our creativity, what we love is our value system. We value certain people, we value certain ideals, we value our planet, we value our sustainability. These are different things that we can connect to as being Venus-centered, but also Empress-centered. So those are the things that we see. Venus is its own structure, right? A beautiful structure that we're creating here. And a beautiful thing that we must honor, protect. These different things that we love. And those things can be ourself. So as we are looking at Venus right now and connecting with Venus, connecting with the Empress as Venus, we want to make sure that we are honoring these tools within us. It's not just about love and who we love, and isn't love so great? What about loving yourself, bitch? Don't you love drinking water, bitch? Yes. Yes, you do. Maybe you also love a lot of coffee. I did too. I drink tea now because I'm anxious. But anyway, I digress. So we're looking at this amazing card for another expansive look at what is the Empress and why. And last but not least, last card to kind of reflect on is the moon here. So again, we talked about the moon and these structures. We see the moon is there. We also see this light and dark aspect. We see this shadow and light kind of self, which is very Pisces. We're in the dream state, and we see doors that can be opened, possibility. These doors are almost the doors to our subconscious. So what do we value right now? What do we aesthetically focus on right now? Is the values around our dreams, values around our ideals of subconscious, our most dreamlike self that can bring forth truth for the collective. Maybe it's not everyone, maybe it's just us, but what we have to offer, what we have to focus on in our truth is collectively part of what heals. It's really, really abstract, but it's also oddly concrete, because the truth for us and our subconscious is as real as it gets. And so what might be at the forefront when it comes to our ideals right now is looking at these doors as the opportunities for change that they are. Looking at them objectively with love, compassion, and saying this is the time. That it's not just a matter of what doors am I opening up to love for myself and others, but like for my community, to be the nurturer, caring person for myself that has the capacity to receive and give and honor what is most intuitively true in this moment by opening up my capacity for my subconscious growth and love. I don't know, y'all, that's the best I've got. Again, I hope this was supportive, but this is my look at Venus and Pisces as the tarot being a tool to transmute what these energies mean. And if this was supportive for you, leave a like and a comment below. Share this with someone who might need the magic tip. And yeah, again, if you want to support this channel or support me, work with me, if you like how I talk about tarot and all that good shit, hit me up at somenormalchild.com. Links will be always, like I said, in the description box, so you can connect with me if you have any needs or wants or desires in this world. I'm here for you, boo. But with that said, it's been really beautiful. If you want more like quickies, my TikTok is filled with tarot tips for baby witches and little videos that are kind of like this, but not exactly. But with that said, have a beautiful Venus and Pisces time. Maybe take out your moon and Empress to connect with for yourself. Because like I said, it's going to look differently for all of us. We're going to be feeling this differently for all of us. Maybe look at where Venus is in your own chart. Maybe look and see where Pisces is in your chart and where this interacts for you. But I digress. I will not keep you anymore, friend. Have a beautiful day. And until I see you next time, bye!